Call the Transportation Committee meeting to order, Tuesday, April 9th, 2013. Ms. Secretary, all members are present. Councilman McClure, would you please lead us in the invocation followed by the pledge?
Yes, sir. Please stand. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, we bless you for this day. We bless you for this opportunity to work with the people of Ascension Parish to bring better things to the parish. Lord, at this time of the year, we thank you very much for bringing all the school students from spring break home safely. And Lord, we look forward to the prom season and graduation season. May you look over those students and guide them through these things and these events safely. Lord, we also have a special intention for Mr. Mac Boudreaux. May you cast your blessings upon him and carry him through this. We ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Name of the
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Clore. Anyone wishing to speak on any agenda item, please sign in with Ms. Liz. Number 4, Road Department Monthly Report, March. Mr. Ronnie?
Thank you. Last month our crews worked 217 work orders. Within that we cleaned 8,900 feet of roadside ditches. Our vacuum trucks cleaned 5,500 feet of culverts. Our weed control department cut 168 miles of roadsides. We sprayed 70 miles, which that number's down a little bit because of the wind. Anything over 7 miles an hour we can't spray. That should pick up. So far this year we had 4 lot violations. One was cut by the contractor, and 2 are due for reinspection this week, and 1 is pending. We have 4 litter violations so far this year. The letters were sent out, and they will inspect them this week. Also, this past weekend we had 2 recycling events. One event was at Walmart in our monthly event was at Walmart in Prairieville. We had 156 residents that passed through and dropped recycled material off. And also our yearly household hazardous material collection day at Lamar Dixon, which we had 303 residents come through, vehicles come through, and it was very successful. Also in your package you have a list of proposed sites for solar stop signs. I want to thank our grants department and Ms. Martha Collins. We're sharing a grant with Lamar Dixon and our recreation department. And our part of the grant would allow us to purchase 22 solar blinking stop signs, and with this being a grant, we have to have the location designated, and this is the 22 designated spots. And also we have at this time we have 13 of them already installed, so that's going to give us 35 altogether.
Great.
Good deal. Crash data.
Crash data.
Right.
Yeah. Good deal.
And I ordered, through our regular sign fund, I ordered 4 extras just in case. We have 1 down now that's due to an accident, just for replacement. So, and I think it's a good investment.
Appreciate
Any
it.
questions?
Any questions? Mr. Clore?
Yeah, Ronnie, I want to thank you for these signs. They're great where they've been since we've been putting them for the past couple of years, and this I can look at the list right now, and there's a great number of places on this list.
Right, and anybody has any, this is the one that we got the crash data on, and we feel this is the most important spots. Anything else to add? Like I said, we have I call them spares for right now, but just in case we have some accident at a spot.
Joseph?
Ronnie, if there's any specific requirements, because I see you have Parish Road and State Road.
A lot of them where they join, maybe where they join a state road. I'm going to use El Angel Road, for example. El Angel, where it joins Highway 74, that man's always having to rebuild his fence right there. It's spots like that where people are running across state roads, and crash data is what we use.
The sign is on the parish road.
It's on the parish road, not on the state
Well,
road.
and that's my question, because I have a
Parish
lot of state roads, and mines are jointed with state roads.
Right.
So we won't be
If
able
it's
to.
a parish road joining a state road, yeah, we can put it on the parish part. Yeah, but
Okay, that's the question. I mean, I just want to make sure
Okay.
that portion like that. Okay.
Ms. Terry?
I'm just thrilled. Thank you, Ronnie, so much. There's some locations in my area, not necessarily in my district, that I think this is going to be extremely helpful. Do we have any data supporting how the effectiveness of them after installation?
We used from St. Tammany Parish, and I had a 75% reduction in accidents.
Very good. Thank you.
Floyd?
I can personally give you, not data, but some results from where you put them in District 6. And like Morris Bourgeois, those places that you can see that.
Right.
You can see it plain and clear. Even the people, most people we've had that ran across and in this man's yard, it's because they didn't know the road. They took off from 431 and just running. And then all of a sudden they're on a stop sign. That was very visible, but it was still in all, they had to come to a stop, and they couldn't make that T-bone there. So, you know, it is working.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We appreciate it.
Mr. Lambert?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ronnie. We appreciate that. Move on to number 5, road project status report. Ben?
Thank you. The Roddy Road widening project from 621 to 935, this is the segment just south of the part that's under construction now. We've completed the Stage 0 feasibility study. DOTD, this was kind of a big thing. Ray Miller worked with DOTD and got the reclassification request finalized, so they've made that road segment eligible for federal funds, which helps us a lot. And as part of that, we're incorporating that into the STP 200K application for this year, and that's a separate agenda item that Ray's going to talk about a little later. Roddy Road widening from 621 to 931, that construction's wrapping up. They should be finished this month. The contract runs out of time April 13th, but we also have a change order there to add a couple of weather delay days, so we're going to extend that a little bit to help them catch up to where they need to be. And that's another agenda item. Church Point at Roddy Roundabout, we received the environmental clearance. That took a lot longer than we expected. It had to go through National Highway Transportation Safety Administration because of the federal funds, so that took a lot of hunting to get that letter finally, but we have it. Geometric review is complete from DOTD. With the environmental clearance, we've started the right-of-way acquisition process, and we're still hoping for summer 2013 construction, probably late summer at this point, depending on how well the right-of-way acquisition process goes. 2012 maintenance project is in progress. They've got a couple of crews out installing culvert improvements where we're replacing some undersized pipes, and then I think yesterday they started doing some milling on some of the northern part roads in the package. Their plan is to basically work from north to south through the road list. We've got a couple of change directives on that as a separate agenda item, so we'll get into that in a minute. The pavement preservation program. I wanted to give you a kind of an update on that process because I still don't have a final list to recommend to you for the 2013 thing, but I kind of wanted to show the process and what we bought with that data acquisition. So if we can jump on the computer screen here. This is Pavement View Plus. This is the software that we use, and I'll jump through a couple of the screens here. We build the scenarios in here, and basically I take all the data that we got. We tell the computer that, hey, roads in this condition require this sort of maintenance. Roads in this condition with these types of failures get a different type of maintenance. And what that does is I run the scenarios. It plugs in the actual budget we have, and we also target a condition. We say our road condition now is at a 63, and we want to improve year over year. So we set a goal. And so when I run the scenarios, I get here's the actual budget, or projections anyway, for plan year 1, 2, and 3. And so we have 2.5 in this year's maintenance budget for the 2013 road package. So that's my actual budget. It comes up with a list of roads that fits that budget. And then next year we got have 4.5. It's a little over that. So I'm still iterating in on our actual budget in plan year 3. Now, at the same time, I set a targeted condition. We want to improve because the actual budget might not show that we're improving. So what's it going to cost to improve and how much? So that's what this target is. And I go in, and we are at a 63, and I said let's target a 65. And we're close to our budget amount for this year for that. If you look out next year, we're well above what the anticipated budget is for next year. So that's part of this iterative process to dial in an actual list. Now, what does this all look like when I throw it into a map? Here's an area of the parish. This is by the old Payless on 42. And the roads and the data that we have, and I've just color coded them right now to kind of give you an idea of what's there, but it's very specific data. This is kind of a broad brush. Red roads are bad, yellow roads are less bad, green roads are, in fairly good condition, and blue roads are in great condition. And so using that data and running it through the model, we come up with a recommended list. And I'm going to turn that on now. Let me turn off the road segment. And so you see the roads that were red are part of kind of year 1, year 2. The solid line is year 1, the dashed line is year 2, the thinner dashed line is year 3. And then the blue lines over here are mill and overlay. The reds are reconstruction, blues are mill and overlay. So that's what I get when the model runs. And if you look, there's, we have a year 2 road here and a year 3 road here. Well, and a year 1 road here. Or maybe it makes sense to do all these in 1 year. So do I push these year 1s to year 2 and kind of roll all this into year 2 so the contractor, when he gets out there, doesn't have to run around as much? And that's what we're kind of working on now. And sometimes there'll be segments of a road that are in the plan and segments that are out a year or 2 or not even in. And so trying to aggregate that information, kind of coordinate to reduce overall cost is where we are now, and that's what I'm working to do to produce a final list that'll have year 1, year 2, year 3. And the idea being that we'll start design on year 1, and then next year we'll revisit it based on the conditions. But that year 2 will kind of be the go by that we'll start from, and the process will be less onerous in future years. So I just wanted to kind of show you all what we got with that money and where we are. It's even got all our sign data in there, so I can throw the signs up at any time, and that also lends itself to the asset management elements of what we're working on. So that's kind of an update on the pavement preservation. Highway 42 sewer improvements. The anticipated letting date is July 2013. That hasn't slipped this month from last month, so we're finally dialing in on the actual date there. And Highway 73 construction's continuing out there, and still early next year completion date anticipated. On the state project, 61 overlay from 22 to 74 should be finished next month. It's essentially done. They're just doing some finishing work out there still. 431 intersection improvements, anticipated completion September 2013. They're still doing clearing and grubbing right now. The 42 widening project, DOTD is resolving some final drainage design issues. That the plan is to let that 6 months after the sewer portion lets, and so they'll be ready to start that construction as soon as the sewer wraps up, and they're estimating 9 months of construction for the sewer clearing and grubbing portion of the 42 project. 73 widening from I-10 to Airline, 25% complete, 50% of the time's gone now, but they're still saying February 2014 completion. 431 Gold Place turn lane, the design consultant still has not been selected. I called DOTD today. I think at this point maybe a call to DOTD administration is in order, because it's been held up too long. Okay. 22 overlay from 44 to 75. That should be wrapping up next month. I think that they've pretty much got most of the work done. 61 access management. This project's been dragging on a little while, but I think they finally got their ultimate solution, and they're building those last elements. So light at the end of the tunnel is visible. 3089 roadway lighting. I heard today that all the submittals are in, so they can finally get all of their stuff, and it shouldn't take too long for that construction once they get out there. It's still predicted for a May 2013 completion.
Any questions for Ben? Mr. President.
Couple of comments. I met with Bert Moore a couple of weeks ago in Jack LeBlanc Road by Snows. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that little short road that goes through there. Mm-hmm. They're doing a development there, and they want the developer to build a road and come out at Airline where it would be a straight shot through there rather than the people having to go around. If you know what.
I know what you're talking
That
about.
way they can go across and make a left turn rather than go the other way. So, anyway, they talked to me about it, and I said, if they do it the parish standards and do it, well, actually the state standards, and that I didn't see where we had a problem with it, but I would let y'all know if that would be okay with y'all.
No problem.
But anyway, that's,
Yeah.
we're gonna, I'll bring it back to you once I get a final say so from Bert or whatever. If they were going back and talk to the developer. The other thing, I want to thank Ben for that. I think it's a great program to have. I think we're way ahead of the curve now with knowing what we need. Should have maybe had this before we did our tax deal, so we could have at least showed the people where our bad roads were and everything else. And but next year, for instance, we'll be able to put in about $5 million in the program. We should be through with the 42 and the 73 and all this other stuff. And then 2015, I think the bond money will be paid off on that other road deal. So hopefully we can maybe do some catching up. And we met with a developer yesterday with Dempsey and did a development agreement with them, to whereas they're going to do a road district in the subdivision that they're going to build, and we also going to get the right of way for sewage and for gas and for whatever else we want to put as far as utilities. So basically, each lot is going to be assessed $100 a year, okay, for 30 years. So they're going to pay $3,000. So when the road's built, it should last probably 15 years, 'cause with the standards that we have today. And then when you can go in, you'll have enough money 15 years later to go ahead and do whatever maintenance and everything else you need to do. And surprisingly, the developers were very happy with that. So I think that's something we need to think about on every new subdivision now. Shame we can't go back, but on every new subdivision, whereas the developer, we would assess every lot, so $100 for road maintenance for 30 years or whatever the number comes out to be. So I think it's a step in the right direction, because tonight you're going to be asked to take in another probably close to 4 miles into the system. So we're not getting ahead, we're going to get further behind, and we got a lot more out there coming. So,
Mr. Aaron?
So the developer would initially pay that fee, and then once it
No.
is sold?
each lot, when the house is sold, each owner will be told that you have an assessment that you're responsible for. $100 a year is going to be put on your tax bill every year.
Outstanding.
But it's a year, not a month, it's $100 a year.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's just something that I think would work. But I want to kind of give you the thought process, and maybe hear some comments from you guys on what you think.
You're good, too.
Do we need any supporting ordinances to make that possible?
I think we need to do that on our subdivision ordinances and amend the ordinance, just do an amendment.
Mr.
Go
Joseph.
through the planning commission first. I guess it needs to go to planning commission to get that done.
Maybe it may be a recommendation from this board to the planning commission to pursue an ordinance to that effect. And basically what that does is keep you from getting any further behind once you take in all the roads that have been approved up until now. I mean, you're not going and say, hey, if they're building a subdivision, they've gotten approved, that we're not going to go and try to negotiate with them, but anything new that comes in, it will be something that we can look at. That way you're not penalizing anybody.
Mr. Joseph?
No, and the press just answered a question I was going to ask, just to make sure that existing and approved subdivision right now that's already have been approved, they are not part of the program. We'll love if they want to volunteer. We're not going to turn them down. But we just want to make sure that this is a new idea the press came up with. I think, like you say, the real estate was very impressed with that idea. So if we could get some more developers to join aboard that, hey, I'm all for that plan.
Great.
That money only stays in that development, does not leave that development. You can't take it and use it all over the town.
Same thing like Bayou Grand.
Mr. Cooley?
Yeah, I'm gonna just go back a couple steps, and once again, Ben, I want to thank you, your department, and administration for the real hard work and working with DOTD. And you know, we said it a couple months ago, but I just want to let everybody know one more time, the record amount of work that we have on highways being done in the parish by DOTD, and the programs based on all the work, and that didn't just start yesterday, because you got to get in front of it about a year or two, you know, getting all those programs up there. When you see things like on the Roddy Road widening, reclassification that allowed it to be within funding, Church Point at Roddy Roundabout, you know, coming under some federal highway monies and things like that. That's the work in the background that brings some of the federal money, taxes that we pay back into the parish to support these roads and support these projects. That's not coming directly out of the taxpayers' pocket. So thank everybody in y'all departments and administration for working on that.
We haven't given up on Parker Road. We still negotiate with Parker.
Mr. Lambert, you had anything? Yeah, I just want to thank you all. So that was a very good meeting, and it also, I mean, it's the way we got to start looking at business in the parish as far as, you know, future development and, you know, addressing our road issues. So very good. Ben, you had anything else? Thank you for the update.
We need a resolution right now going forward too.
Would you like to wait on that, or you ready? Would you like?
I'd try to move on this, to make the recommendation to the planning commission to come up with an amendment.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
To work with O'Neill.
Go
Okay.
ahead, Terry. you
I'll
got-
make that motion that this be, that this body recommend to the Planning and Zoning Commission a decision with regard to fees associated with development, a developmental agreement.
Right. Second by
Todd.
Mr. Todd Lambert. Any further discussion? Not, motion passed. You got that, Liz? You good? Okay, number 6, change order number 2, the Roddy Road widening, LA 621 and 931. Ben?
This is a change order to add days, zero cost, but add days to the contract. This is from the adverse weather that we've experienced in the early part of the year. Adds 26 days.
I made it.
Moved by Councilman
Second.
Lambert, second by Councilman Kluwat. Discussion? Motion passed. Number 7, change order directives, number 1 and number 2 for the 2012 road improvement project. Ben?
Yeah, this one's a little more complex. We got 2 change directives. One is to remove 6 roads from the project that we intend to put back in. But the issue is that fluorite was discovered on the roads, so the cost is more than what we originally estimated. But we didn't want to change directive a cost into the contract without council approval. So what we did was said, hey, contractor, don't do those roads until we get back to you. So we changed directive those out. And what we would like to do is change order them back in as fluorite roads, which it entails removing that fluorite. And that's kind of the philosophy we're approaching. Let's solve that problem now. Because in the past we've worked, there have been some scenarios where we've managed to leave the fluorite and do some things to keep it in place, but it doesn't always work. And if we get rid of it, we don't have to worry about it again. And right now, it's the cheapest it's ever going to be to remove fluorite. So that's kind of how we're moving forward, is let's get rid of it and start with a good base. So change directive number 2 here is to reduce a portion of one of the roads that's in there. And this is actually coming out of the data that we recently acquired. The road was in there for mill and overlay, and most of that road segment is good. There's just one really bad segment. And so what we're saying is, let's just fix that segment. We're not going to take that road entirely out, but the remainder of that road is in pretty good condition. This is in Quail Creek subdivision. And it's basically in the same condition as the rest of the subdivision. So and rather than piecemeal a piece in that we're going to have to someday have to come do the rest of the subdivision, it'll be it makes more sense to just do that bad segment. So that's change directive 2. That's a cost reduction in the contract as well. But what I would like to do, or get the recommendation from this committee to the council, would be to create a change order from these that entails adding back the 6 roads that were taken out with change directive 1, which is, results in a net increase in the contract of about $353,000. It's straight bid prices from the contract, unit prices, and that will remove that fluoride from those roads, and we'll get a better end product. Still under the original approved scope budget for the overall project, and so that's where we are.
Okay. Just one quick question, Mr. Cloy.
Well, go ahead. Todd, you got the motion?
I make that motion that we
Can I add-
approve. What do you want to?
Let me add one more thing to that. As we go along, we might find other areas of fluoride, and we did this last year, and I don't know that we followed the exact correct process last year. When we found issues, we repaired them, and that increased the cost of the contract, and the committee approved them because we were making sound engineering decisions. What flexibility, and this is something that we had a conversation with legal about, does the council want to give? And if we stay under the original budget amount, does that work, or how do we address these issues? Rather than increase the contract and come back and ask you guys for approval, I don't want to move faster than the council wants to, go with
Let's
this.
continue the discussion on this, Mr. Cloy.
Yeah, just basically the roads that you're trying to bring back right now and add 300 and something thousand to the project. That's the ones you got listed right here?
Yes, that's.
And one of them being Jimmy Michael Road.
Yes.
It needs it. That road's in horrific shape.
It is.
And several other ones. And just a quick note on the floor light. Based on all of our studies of our roads, I know particularly in my district, I had several of them with floor light, and that cost does go up. And sometimes the total rework of that road, I particularly don't necessarily want to, just to go put something on top of floor light, because it's just a problem waiting to happen. Because, so everywhere with floor light, you're planning on going down somewhere, finding something within the budget, and when those roads come up, to get that floor light out and get you a good base down there. Can you do core drilling to
We do.
to anticipate whether a road needs floor light? I mean, has floor light, excuse me.
We do, and the inspectors also go right, and they're pretty good at telling it. And actually, these 6, they told us were fluorolite, and our testing reports didn't. And we should have had them as fluorolite roads in the original package. They weren't. But the testing lab, it's hard to tell sometimes, because the testing lab might drill here, and we might have patched there, or we might have patched a lot of places with fluorolite, and it just depends on where they poke that hole in the road. You might find it or you might not. And then even when you do drill into it, it doesn't always tell with the tests that they run, because they're looking at compaction and that sort of thing, Proctor tests and moisture contents. And so we asked them to try to tell us when they encounter fluorolite, and in some cases they catch it, in some cases they don't. But until the only way to really know for sure is to peel off that asphalt and you see it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Jones.
I guess, Mr. Prez, Ben is asking for some additional funds just in case. And I guess the question is, if we say, make a motion not to exceed 500 grand, he have the liberty to up to 500 grand. Do we have that, to have that leeway from administration?
Well, I don't have a problem with that. I think basically that would give him some wiggle room to do what he did, but anytime it would go above that, I would ask that they'd have to come back, set a cap, and then come back to this committee in the event that we see we have a major problem, because then I got to look at it certainly from a financial end also.
How much is the budget? How much
The
clearance do
original
we
approved
have?
budget was 5.1 million, 5.1 something. The bids came in, the low bid was 4.3.
So we had money in there. What
Okay.
he's saying is we staying within
Stay within the budget, we okay.
but it's going to be above the bid, so
Bid,
it's going to have to be a
bid
change order.
projection.
Right.
So
And
If you
I'm
wanna-
saying that if we give him 500,000, he have that wiggle room. And if, once he goes over 500,000, he come back to us. And then whatever the remaining budget, then if we have to spend.
you can do it that way, or you can do it at the 5.1 million that was budgeted, and then when it gets to that, then
Then we have to look at
yeah.
it.
So either way you want to do it, you can set a limit or do it.
Mr. Cooley?
Yeah, Ben, you know, I know you're asking for a little bit of leeway somehow, but even if it came in at 4.3 and we had 5.1 in the pot for it, okay, that we do have some, you know, $750,000 or whatever, I would definitely like to know every time we go out handing out more and on the change orders, okay? And I can understand you want some latitude, and I'd love to find some way for it, but
Certainly, and every opportunity we can to update on where we are, and we're going to do that. It's just sometimes, a good example is last year, there was a road. We milled it. We didn't know it was going to be fluorite. When we did, it looked like the road was made out of flour. I mean, it was just white powder, and then it started raining.
it wasn't Fontenot Lane by any chance, huh?
I think it was
No, that was the
Robert
year before that.
Washington, and it was terrible. I mean, you could hardly walk
understand.
down the road, much less drive down it. And so we had to do a change directive, which increased the cost of the contract. You know, and that's what I'm trying to address. How does this council want to handle that? Because I want to.
I guess the gap on what I'm asking for is that I think you definitely got the opportunity to be in front of us once a month, and how the change orders go, whether somebody has to do an estimate. As soon as if they find it at the first of the month, then they're going to have to give you a budgeted estimate. They got to give you a hard dollar price, actually, on it, and enter that back to you as a change order, and then you're going to have to review it. So,
I see what you're trying to do, but if you would do a change order at this point to address the remainder of what's in the budget, do that change order and okay that, and then make reports on these change orders when it comes, so we don't stop the project.
That's what I'm.
I understand that.
But I mean, either way you want, I'm just.
That's pretty decent. That's pretty decent leeway to change order.
Right,
Yeah,
and I
it's
mean,
not. It's not a 50.
I can assure you we're not gonna. And I
this
trust
is-
Ben.
this-
He doesn't like to do anything without coming and getting approval like he
understand that.
should.
All right.
But we okay, whatever y'all want to do.
And the other thing, I guess, with the leeway here, the main thing in it, and I know people don't want to hear this, but if we have to take away, we're not going to stop in the middle of a road because the other end of it is full of fluorite. Let's finish out the project on the road, and then we'll just assess it at the end. That's my thinking. I think it'd make us.
I agree with you. You know, one of the main thing I want to do is I don't want to cover floor light back up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bottom line, I think we might have done that in the past. You know, but it was based on budget, you know, and bid and everything else. And I'm okay with the leeway, the volume of the leeway we have right now, and every opportunity you get, widen them a foot on each side too, please. Okay? All right.
Okay, Mr. Lambert, you had made the motion.
Well, I think we'll go ahead and make the motion that we stay within the budget, and if any change orders come because of fluorite, you could bring it to us. You don't have to bring it to us prior, you know, you can bring it to us at the next available meeting.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
keep the project moving forward.
I'll second that.
Moved by Councilman Lambert, second by Councilwoman Terry. Any other discussion on this? Not, motion passed. All right, number 8, road acceptance into the parish maintenance system. Mr. Bro, you want to take these one at a time? Okay.
Inspected them, all of them look good, the bonds up on all of them within the next 20 to 25 days. We don't see no reason it shouldn't be so.
All right. For Pelican Crossing subdivision, the third filing, any questions for Cashada Drive, Pelican Crossing Drive, Toledo Avenue?
Motion to accept.
Moved by Councilman
Second.
Joseph, second by Councilman Terry. Any other discussion?
You want to do individual roads separately, Mr.
All right,
Chairman?
we're gonna go ahead with the first one.
Cashada Drive.
Moved by Councilman Lambert for Cashada Drive,
Second.
second by Ms. Terry. Any other discussion? None, motion passed. Pelican Crossing Drive.
Motion.
Moved by Mr. Joseph, second by Mr. Lambert. Any other discussion? None, motion passed. Toledo Avenue.
Motion.
Moved by Ms. Terry.
Second.
Second by Mr. Joseph. Any other discussion? If none, motion passed. Stonegate Manor, Mr. Bro, we had any?
No, sir, it had a 2-year bond and it passed.
Stonegate Manor Drive,
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
moved by Mr. Lambert, second by Mr. Joseph.
Question.
Discussion,
Yeah, question.
Mr. Joseph.
All these roads are asphalt, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
All of that.
okay.
And they built up to state standards.
Steve. Any other discussion? None, motion passed. Sapphire Avenue,
Motion.
moved by Mr. Ayers, second by Mr. Lambert. Discussion, none, motion passed. Paradise Drive,
Motion.
moved by Mr. Joseph, second by Mr. Cluott. Discussion, none, motion passed. Diamond Avenue,
Motion.
moved by Mr. Ayers,
Second.
second by Mr. Lambert. Discussion, none, motion passed. Jade Avenue,
Motion.
moved by Mr. Joseph,
Second.
second by Mr. Ayers. Discussion, none, motion passed. Barnett Drive, moved by Mr. Terry, second by Mr. Joseph. Discussion, motion passed. Aqua Marina,
So moved.
moved by Mr. Lambert, second by Mr. Cluott. Any other discussion? If not, motion passed. And Johnny DePlessis,
Motion.
moved by Mr.
No, sir.
Cluott, second by Mr. Lambert.
No, sir.
Discussion, if not, motion passed. Mr. Bro, Industrial Drive Extension. Everything good?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Terry?
Is there an industrial drive and this is just the extension thereof as the name
He's
alludes?
piecemealing it, Mr. Terry. He's building sections at a time.
Okay. And we haven't had issues with the earlier sections?
Yes, and he has corrected.
Where's this one located at, Bob?
On Highway 30.
We met with the developer and went over what we needed to go over, and Ricky Compton at the meeting also. But they do what they're supposed to do. I mean, the follow procedure won't be a problem.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Mr. Lambert, second by Mr. Cluott. Discussion, none, motion passed. Number 9, resolution for the STP 200,000 project. Mr. Ray?
Good evening, Council. What you have before you is a changed resolution or a new resolution for the STP greater than 200K program. If you recall, back in March, we brought 3 projects before you, which was one for the data transfer, actually just another road scan. It may not be with that company, may be with another company. And then 2 feasibility studies for intersections of LA 73 and LA 429 and LA 429 and LA 22. What we've done is added Roddy Road, the next piece or next segment of Roddy Road, into the program. As Ben mentioned earlier in the meeting, we submitted a request through the parish president's office on February 28th to have it changed in its functional classification at the state and federal level, not so much with our local, but that's also the reason why we changed our local program to be consistent with the state program. And then we finally got a reply back on March 27th stating that they agreed with our recommendation to change Roddy Road to an urban collector. And then they said it became effective immediately, so it became effective for the current call for projects. So what that does is take our total request for projects to a projected funding amount of about $6.3 million, which takes the parish 20% match requirement from $60,000 to $1.2 million. And the main part of that is because of Roddy Road. A high-end estimate's about $6 million to do the same type of, I won't say it's a widening project, it's a safety improvement project just like we have going on now. You're taking 10-foot lanes to 12-foot lanes plus improving the drainage. And that's how we're going to submit it, is under the safety portion of that STP program or the guidelines. So that's the big changes, and it's a resolution to recommend approval to the parish for next week's meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Cluott, second by Mr. Lambert. Any other discussion? Mr. President?
it's a good way to capture some of that federal money that
Yep.
we've been missing out on for many, many years. And I think that if we can continue to do this and leverage our dollars, we can start making some headway.
Good deal. No other discussion? Motion passed. In closing, President, you have anything else? All right, number 10.
Motion adjourned, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Mr. Lambert to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Mr. Joseph. To adjourn.